Alright, hey everybody, I'm back again. Mr. Vance here, and today I'm going to show you how to draw Frankenstein. So, using the book, I drew a few of these, um, trying to touch on a few important details that I wanted my students to know. So, let me just show you a few of these real quick. And I started talking to the students about outlining and making their lines thick versus having thin lines. Pointy shapes versus having um, rounded shapes. Alright, so now I'm going to draw this for you. And looking at the book, the first thing I noticed, and been telling my kids this for a few weeks now, is when you're doing a picture, you want to find uh, the most interesting part of the picture. For Frankenstein, he has a couple of parts that are very interesting. He has a very rectangular forehead, almost like it's a block, and then he has bolts on the side of his face. So if you draw those two things, there's a couple of other things that are not in the book that I will touch on after I'm done drawing, based off of their steps. But the first two things that I noticed, you need to have those two things, which is a big block forehead and a bolts on the side of the face. So the first step is to draw a line, and since Frankenstein has a big block head, I try not to draw too much of a curve on this line, and try to have a flat line, but not 100% flat. The next step has these two curved shapes at the bottom of the face, and if you were in kindergarten, I will tell you to just draw the letter U. Or if I'm trying to make a cute little graphic character, the letter U. But on the book, they have an extra letter U down here, another extra curved line for the chin to have a little bit more detail on the chin. And this goes a long way to making your character look unique. And then right here, he has two big circles for eyes. And on Frankenstein, since he has a big forehead, you're going to want to draw these eyes just a little bit lower than you normally would. And since I'm here, I'm going to draw the pupils, which are the dark circles in the middle of your eye. Some people have blue, some people have green, brown, black. Some people have contacts, and they have all kinds of colors. But if you have it looking up on one, if you have the two circles on one side, then it makes it look like he's looking off to the side. So the next thing, I just draw the letter L for the nose, just to get that out the way. Frankenstein has almost a pouty look. And the book shows us that we connect the forehead now to the sides of the face. For the eyebrows, the book gives Frankenstein rectangular, blocked out eyebrows. And so just remember the angle of these blocks. If they're higher up and they look more like the letter V, then he could be a little bit more angry. If they are a little less, then he seems a little bit more concerned. And if they're flat, then he might just look bored. So you have to decide what angle Now there's a couple more things that I have to do with this Frankenstein. So let me go ahead and finish this up and move on. For his haircut, I just give him a zigzag line in the book. It looks a little bit more detailed, but for me, to keep it simple and move forward, I just go ahead and make a zigzag line. I'll color all this in, but right now it's taking up a lot of time, so I'm just going to shade in it a little bit and I'll finish up coloring it at the end. A couple of other things that I want to go over is that Frankenstein has these bolts inside of his head. So depending on where you want to put them, I'm not seeing any ears on the picture. So you can add ears and bolts, or you can just add two lines here and a rectangle, and it makes it look like some sort of mechanism or something sticking out of the side of his face. And that's where Dr. Frankenstein attached the electricity to bring life back into Frankenstein. So there's a couple of other details, like a small line underneath to make it look like the bottom lip. Color the hair one more time. And Frankenstein has green skin, gray skin, but I'm not going to add the colors into this because, if whatever reason you have limited materials, I wanted to show you how to draw this with just, a pencil and some paper, maybe if you have an eraser. But another thing that he has that you can easily add to the picture is, like, if you add a line here with some dashes that go across, it starts to look like stitches. And you can have these go all kinds of ways to make it look like his skin is sewn together. And it doesn't have to just be straight lines, but you can have curvy lines, spiky lines. However you want to try to tell a story about how Frankenstein has these stitches, it's up to you. Now you could also draw lines that are curved and they split off at the end, and that'll start making it look like they are blood veins and blood vessels. And for the students that that I've been teaching, I've been trying to get them to do outlines. And so for a young child, the problem sometimes can be to understand that an outline is the line that you have to go around the edge. And so sometimes our outlines are thin lines because it's the first thing we drew and we moved on. But at the end, I want to start coming back into the picture with my pencil and start going over my lines again, making sure that I go back into this picture as many times as I need to, just to get my lines right. So I'm turning thin lines into thick lines so that all my detail inside of the face starts to stick out, because there's a variety now. The line's no longer just thin, but once we see the thick outline, then we can move on and start going into some of the smaller shapes and details inside the face. And one last thing that I had kids do is to make an outline that's completely outside of the face, just to give it this little graphic, design look. So they can cut this out and make it a sticker, or they can draw some stuff around it and know that it just was that one thing that they drew. Alright, so yeah. I don't think there are anything else I needed to add. So thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Don't be afraid to share this video. Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.